Yo, what's up, ladies and gents, boys and girls? Your boy, TheDreadMan, is back with the episode of the TheDreadMan Sports Podcast. I'm your host, TheDreadMan Thomas, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Watertow and Flipside. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man? What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Sure, man. We're good. We're doing awesome. Hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas. Hope everybody had a happy holidays. And, well, here it is, fellas. Week 17. Wow. I mean, this has been a wild year. The thing is, let's go back to before we make our predictions and stuff like that for this week, and before we recap last week. Let's see how many of our predictions came true. I ended up calling the Cowboys right on the money. I said they were going to be 9-7 at best, and people no. People thought I was nuts, and people thought I was being a hater when I said that. I told people with Dak having a sophomore slump, which he did, and with Zeke being out for 6 games, which he was, it's going to have an impact on the team. You can't just overlook something like that. A lot of people thought I was being a hater. And to me, the breakout team this year was the Rams. The Rams are the last time the Rams made the postseason was 2003, 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody go ahead and look that up for me. But yeah, if I can't. The thing is, it's a whole bunch of crazy stuff that happened this year that I can't believe. But just you guys' opinion. What is the season for you been like in review? Flip, you first. Like, what are your thoughts on this season?
I didn't expect the Bucks to go 4-11 next year.
Yeah, me either.
That was a pretty interesting one.
Oh yeah. By the way, I get the donkey of the day. For saying that the Jags are going to go 4-12. But then again, you know what? Nobody predicted that. I did. I didn't. But
hey, I said that the Jaguars are going to show up. So, yeah, I don't know.
And I also get the donkey of the day for saying that the Giants were going to win the NFC East.
That was kind of unfortunate, though. That was kind of they lost a bunch of their receivers. Pretty good on the season.
Yeah.
And Eli like fell off the face of the earth in terms of disability.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, let's go on from the bad and move on to the good. Let's talk about our boy Jimmy G. And him and the 49ers exposed the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are supposed to be a threat. What do y'all think about that? All right, Walter Tom, I'll let you go first since you're the expert on the Jaguar, on the 49ers. What do you think of that? You were waiting for that.
I'll tell you, man. Every time we talk about Jimmy G, man, they're playing a backup. What's great is like Fox actually had that cut the commercial playing that.
Oh yeah.
Which is hilarious. That was great. I'm glad they're hopping on board with this. Dude, Jimmy G looked incredible. What he did against that secondary, that vaulted defense that everyone's been talking up, which even I had talked up this season. I did not expect him to do it to that team like that. It was incredible. And the fact that he did it with a bunch of essentially people he could not name. Not many people can name two receivers on that Niners squad.
Besides Goodwin.
That they're able. Yeah. Let alone they're able to put up 44. Hitting 44 on this team. I mean, he looks remarkable. It is unbelievable what he's been doing for this team and how much he's improved this team. Just on his play and his presence alone. He's helping. He's making the run game look a little bit better. He's turning these receivers into studs, and the defense. The defense is playing a little bit better. And granted, they gave up a lot of garbage points to the Jaguars late in the game. But
yeah.
It's just remarkable. He's completely flipped his squad on a dime, and it makes it kind of sad because the Niners lost a bunch of games in a row by 5 points or less. And if they would have had Jimmy G, I mean, they could have maybe made a push for the playoffs. But
yeah,
it's going to be remarkable to see what this quarterback does in this offense when he has a full off season.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, he came into this team in the middle of the season to learn this offense. He hasn't had a full off season in OTAs to even fully kind of tap the potential. So give this guy a full off season and maybe a couple of good free agent ads. And this is like a dark horse for next year. Like, it's remarkable.
Yeah. And you know what's even more evidence than that is the Thursday night Week 3 game between the Niners and the Rams. Whew! That's even more evidence of that. And like you could imagine if they would have had Jimmy G then.
Jimmy G in a lot of these games. I tell you what, if Jimmy G pulls off the Rams, like, it depends. Like, he's gonna put up points because this is not. I mean, this is the first time like he had to put up a bunch of points with the Niners squad. Put up hang points more. So he's gonna need to essentially put up at least 30, 35 plus. Because Jared Goff is going to torch our secondary. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting. If he can pull this off and go to essentially I think 5-0 as a starter this year. And I think it's going to be 7-0 as an overall starter, considering his Patriots. It's going to be incredible. This guy, he just looks so confident. He doesn't get rattled. He had this one play where he was rolling out to his left, and then he threw like a sidearm dart for a touchdown. This is remarkable. This guy's unbelievable. I'm gonna definitely get a jersey.
Yeah. Invest in one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's incredible what one guy can do, and then arguably he's been sitting on the Patriots bench for the last couple of years. He's already essentially a top 10 quarterback. You think? I mean, potential.
Well, I wouldn't say top 15, top 10. You can say he straddled top 10, top 15. I wouldn't go any further than top 10.
I can definitely put him top 10.
Oh, really?
Top 15, no question. Top 10 is very, very. You can make the argument for top 10. Like, he's going to be on that bottom half of the 10, but you can.
And now, out of 15, I'd put him at 10 because y'all might kill me for this, but I think that, well, should I say it? I think Tyrod Taylor is better than him.
Oh, no. Tyrod
No.
Tyrod.
Y'all can tell. I can tell right now. Y'all think I'm tripping, but I'm not. I mean, we have to see him from start to finish for me to be a believer. I'm a believer, but it's like I will give him credit. He did expose what was supposed to be a threatening Jags team, but like I said, we need to see him. We need to see him from start to finish. But the thing is, I understand what you mean now. Now, I understand what you mean because I guess makes a little bit more of a statement if you come in halfway during the season when your whole team is a mess and then you start to click things. I agree with you right there. So maybe you did kind of beat me on that argument a little bit. It's like maybe it is better to come in when your team is a mess and it's a train wreck and then you come in and get a little bit of structure than you would just be from going to week 1 to week 17.
I just think it's more impressive that he's doing that. Since he's not had a full off season with this offense to learn. With that, if the rookie DJ Bernard didn't have that injury in the Seahawks game, it might have been it might have been a game or two before we would have seen it. That injury that he got kind of rushed him a little bit into the game or into the starting role. So it's just impressive. Okay, so I'm thinking right now. I'm gonna name some quarterbacks that are right now in the overall top 10 in terms of yards. I guess you would say. I'm not gonna say that's the end all be all.
Right.
Do you think that who's Cousins or Garoppolo?
Oh, not even Garoppolo. Not even close.
Okay. All right. Matt Ryan or Garoppolo? I think Matt Ryan.
We're starting to get in a little bit of a gray territory right there.
Okay.
That's in my opinion, that's a toss-up. Well, hold on.
That's right, toss-up. Because I was coaching under Shanahan, both there. Well, Matt Ryan says he's coaching under Shanahan. Now you see Garoppolo kind of killing it under Shanahan.
Well, unlike the head coach of the 49ers, he doesn't try to get his quarterbacks killed like Shanahan.
How about Stafford or Garoppolo?
Damn. Now, if you would have asked me this question 2 years ago, the answer would have been Matt Stafford clearly, but not, I mean,
Matt Stafford's not doing it without Marvin Jones.
Yeah,
I'd argue Matt Stafford might have a better receiving core.
yeah, you're right. You're right about the receiving core, but I mean, yeah, quite possibly. But yo, can you imagine if Jimmy Garoppolo had Ben Roethlisberger type weapons?
He was so composed in that pocket, man. It's like I was watching the 49ers Jags game. He did not look scared at all. He was just controlling that.
I know he's got that Carson Wentz kind of poise.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah, he does. And once they get more of an established O line, and they get him like 1, 2 like more like big name receivers, it's gonna be incredible.
To be honest, I think he could lead that team to the division title with just TheDreadMan and Peter Garcia.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into next year, God, if Chuck Collins still healthy, oh my God, I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Next game, Marquise Goodwin might hit 1,000 yards receiving.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, it was like that. Again, those 1,000 yards were essentially like in the last like 6 or 7 games. Like if you look at his numbers, like
they kind of put right. So if you put Pierre Garcon on the opposite side or just like somewhere to take coverage up, it was good. It's like still be a crazy thing.
Yeah. All right, fellas, let's switch gears just a second. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys getting their dreams shattered by the Seahawks, who are still in the hunt, by the way. Now, I mean, the thing is, right now, this is where it gets just a little bit tricky. A lot of people say, well, if the Cowboys lose, then they don't even deserve the playoffs. And, like, you can't even really argue with that right now. But let's talk about the Seahawks. Like I said, the Seahawks are still in the hunt, and then they just knock them out. Here's where it gets tricky. The Seahawks make the playoffs. They have to win, of course, and the Falcons either have to lose or tie for them to get in. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the thing is, whoever wins that 6th seed has to go up against the Rams at home in the playoffs. So basically, you're jumping in a car going 80 miles an hour and running into a damn brick wall. But Flip, what are your thoughts on that? On the Cowboys not deserving the playoffs, and 2, whoever has the 6th seed between the Falcons and the Seahawks having to go up against the Rams.
Okay. I think the Falcons could give the Rams the rest of their money first.
Oh, not at home. Flip, not at home though.
Even at home, even at the Coliseum, yeah, I think so. Because a lot of those fans, they're kind of bandwagoning right now. They could give up on them in 2002.
They beat the Saints. And the Saints right now are better than the Falcons.
I'm just saying, man, the Falcons could give them a run for their money in the playoffs. It's playoffs. It's different football.
Yeah, you're right. It's different. The playoffs is a different animal. But
Yeah, I'm not giving them the right thing. Because Russ is running for his life every single time, and Aaron Donald ain't letting him.
Yeah.
So, about the Cowboys winning the playoffs, sure, they're going to make the playoffs. They deserve to make it.
I don't know about dessert. I don't know about that.
No, because they were without their best player for 6 games. They still almost made the playoffs. I got to give it to them that way.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: they need to trade Dez, get a better O line.
Dez ain't going nowhere. The franchise tag is on him.
Trade Dez. Get him out of it. They're not getting anything for Dez. They need to, like, at least like a 5th rounder for Dez.
I don't know.
They can put re-sign him. Do not give him a lot of money. Let him walk. Let him go to a team that's trying to win now. And I don't know, something. Because Dak and him ain't clicking. And he's looking slow and he still can't run routes. So, give him up.
Yeah. All right, Wazatov, your thoughts on Your thoughts on the Cowboys getting knocked out by the Seahawks and the winner of the Seahawks and the Falcons, whoever wins that 6th seed, having to go up against the Rams? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's the dub, whatever team goes against them. I mean, again, I do agree with Flip. I think the Falcons stand a better chance. I don't think Seattle's floating right now. You know, they got Earl Thomas already trying to get his mortgage house put down the payments down north over Dallas right now. So I don't see the Seahawks coming back after getting smoked, a week or two ago by the Rams going into the playoffs and doing anything against them. I mean, there's nothing they could do. Whereas the Falcons, I think the Falcons, I think they can play them a little bit tougher. I think obviously there's more weapons offensively for Matt Ryan. They might be able to pack up in a different way. Seattle just essentially relies on Russell trying to do everything, and you're right, he'll be running for his life against the Rams. And so I guess like what Flip said, it is kind of still impressive that Dallas was still almost able to make the playoffs with for so long. But I think this was a little bit like you said. I think this was kind of like written in the mirror a little bit. The mirror was on the wall for this. Like most quarterbacks do kind of experience a little bit of a sophomore slump. That was to be expected. That Zeke did have the suspension looming for the longest time. And Dez is no longer like an elite receiver. He's like a borderline number 2 now. And him and Dak never really clicked to begin with. And I'm not sure if Dez is the right receiver in that offense the way Dak handles the quarterback position. So
because a receiver like Dez is tailor made for Tony Romo. So yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. They need to flip Dez for something, and they need to just build that offense around Zeke and going forward. Although I was kind of surprised that Zeke didn't perform as well. But I don't know. I don't think he was given the opportunities. But this Cowboys team, they need to retool because the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are going to be going anywhere. Granted, the Giants and the Redskins, I'm not sure how they're going to be looking next year. So the NFC East isn't as competitive as we might have thought maybe a year or two ago. But yeah, it's just it's kind of funny because even though the Seahawks beat them, the Seahawks themselves are kind of almost imploding as well. Because the Seahawks don't. I mean, they beat them, but it's just like looking at that roster. It's like this team is like a shell of itself. You know what I mean? From what we've seen it be for so long. So Seattle's not going to have anything to do in the playoffs if they even make the playoffs. It's just going to be a one and done situation. So I do like Atlanta more so in a 3-6 matchup against the Rams. I think they can maybe give them a scare because it is Jared Goff, even though he's playing really well.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell Sean McVay did, but whatever the hell Sean McVay did, it worked.
Yeah, coach of the year, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But yeah. We'll see.
Now let's move over to the AFC side, fellas. Now, one thing that I was right about was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right? Well, I said they were going to be 12-4, but it looks like they're on the road to 13-3, and it's still looking like. Well, let's be real. The only way right now that the Steelers can clinch home field throughout the playoffs is if the Patriots lose or tie with the Jets, and it is at Gillette Stadium. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like the road. I mean, it's going to go through either Heinz Field or Gillette Stadium. I mean, there's some formidable opponents in the AFC, but let's be real. Only one or two teams in the AFC is going to the Super Bowl, either the Steelers or the Patriots, and it really is a toss-up because it's going to come down. I mean, the thing is, the Steelers have the potential. I think they are probably the better team on paper. It's just that Tom Brady is damn near the GOAT, and Bill Belichick is the best, like probably one of the best coaches ever. It's all a matter. The thing is, it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes if it comes down there. Now, there's still some teams in the hunt. There's probably some teams like I said, I told you guys, I think it's like week 13 or week 14. I'd love to see the Jags go up against the Patriots. So I'd love to see a rematch between the Patriots and Kansas City, which we could potentially see. If you ask me, the wild card in the AFC is going to be more exciting than the divisional round because it's going to be more of a, oh my God, who's going to win? Because the wild card, the AFC division, besides the Patriots and the Steelers, looks completely different. When was the last time you seen the Jags in the AFC? In the playoffs in the AFC, and they make the Chiefs make the top 3 seeds for the third year, or the top 3 or 4 seeds for the second or third year in a row, I believe it is. I think the second year in a row. Let's just go ahead and say second year in a row. But yeah, it's not real. The thing is, it really could go. That wild card round is going to be dangerous, and I will be watching. But Flip, what do you think?
The top 4 spot, they're pretty solidified. I think the Patriots are just going to come through and say, hey, look, we're taking home field advantage here. Even if y'all can just have second round bye, or first round bye. Those last 2 spots are kind of like where I'm really interested, mainly because obviously the Chargers fans. But I hope my prediction's right, man. Like next week, I'll do my prediction right for the Chargers to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. A whole bunch has to happen, though.
I think what does that happen? The Ravens have to win. The Titans have to lose. And we have to win. Or the Bills win and the Ravens. Like
I'm looking at the odds. I'm looking at like the numbers and odds right now, and y'all have probably about a 15% chance of making the playoffs if you know. Because the Raiders, right now the Raiders are done. They're not playing for anything, so they might try to come out and punch you guys in the mouth because they have nothing to lose. And look, at this point in the season, if your team ain't going to the playoffs, the best you can hope for is to either A, win because you have nothing, win just to make a statement to show that, we'll be better next year and to ruin the chances of a team that's already made the playoffs, or B, lose just so you can get a better draft pick. That's the only 2 options you got if you ain't going to the playoffs.
No, they're too high. I see Jackson Oreo trying to play this one out really hard. So the Raiders game is going to be tough. Ravens Bengals, I don't know how that one's going to go. You're more.
Yeah, I'm more the expert. Let's see where it is. It is. Yeah, conference. Yeah, the Bengals. Yeah, they're going up against the Bengals at M&T Bank Stadium, Ravens home. That one might not be that. We'll get into the prediction for the Ravens and Bengals later, because that is that's a 4:25 game. That's pretty much the last game that's going to be aired because they're not doing any more Sunday night football. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be like 8 different games on at one time. Jesus. Yeah, there's going to be 6 1:00 games on, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep,
But just to finish up my playoff prediction, I'm hoping the Chargers get in. I feel like the Ravens are going to take that 5th spot, and if we do get that 5th spot, I feel kind of confident that we can beat Jacksonville. We took a real close in that last one played. We barely lost on the phone. So I definitely see us making it past the long track round in the future.
Okay. That's bold, but I'll take it. But Walter Todd, what do you think of like the overall AFC playoff picture?
Well, unfortunately, I think the Niners kind of made it a little less entertaining because how exposed they did, how much they exposed the Jaguars defense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were quick to say that the Jaguars could be an interesting team to threaten the Patriots because of what they can do on the defensive line, like how much pressure they can put on Brady, and essentially kind of limit that offense. And lo and behold, I mean, Brady's understudy for the last like 4 years, like lit him up for 44 points.
Yeah.
So if you think that the backup can do that, what do you think the GOAT will do that again, especially in the playoffs against Blake Bortles?
Oh yeah, I don't trust Blake Bortles for a second. And I mean, like I said, if it's any indication of what Jimmy Garoppolo can do, then it's safe to say that Tom Brady will call that secondary up like a Christmas ham.
Yeah, of course. I think Bortles is starting to come back to his mean average after performing extremely well the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So I do expect Tennessee to lose though. And the Chargers to kind of still sneak in. I think it's going to be Baltimore and the Chargers in that 6th spot. The only team that stands any chance of threatening is Kansas City. They are an explosive kind of team. I think they kind of in terms of their running back and some of the playmakers, but as wide receiver like Tyreek Hill, I guess they're kind of like the Rams of the AFC a little bit.
Yeah.
Just maybe not as consistently explosive. Like they don't have a Todd Gurley, but Kareem Hunt has been playing pretty well. He's gotten kind of back to form the last couple of games. So I think they can stand the threat. That's really it though. I mean, if I had to put my money on it, it's going to be either Pittsburgh or New England.
Yeah.
And that could be right now a point flip. It is interesting though because New England did pick up your former boy James Harrison.
Yeah. Breaking news: James Harrison is now a Steeler. I mean, James Harrison is now a Patriot. Wow. And the thing is, what's funny is we got Stephen Ridley, their backup running back, a week prior. So I guess it's a trade for a trade. And Stephen Ridley, I mean, if you've seen the Texans game that the Steelers played, which by the way was the best Christmas present ever, after getting screwed over last week, Stephen Ridley actually put up some pretty damn good yards. James Conner, I mean, with James Conner being out, yeah, we did need somebody else. And this season is also a very strong indication of why you should not put all your eggs into one basket. Because look at all the major players that went down. Odell Beckham Jr., Cam Chancellor, Aaron Rodgers, Richard Sherman. Let's see. I can keep going. I really could keep going, but it's a lot of major players who went down this season. Injuries are J.J. Watt out for Deshaun Watson. That one probably hurt me the most. I'm not even a Texans fan, and that would hurt me. Let's see who else. It's a lot of people who let's see. Oh yeah. Carson Wentz, the number 1. That one probably hurt the most. My God. And Carson Wentz was on an MVP run. That right there probably is, yeah. What you about to say?
Yeah, do we think? I was going to say, speaking of MVP, who do we think right now is in the front runner seat right now for the MVP? Gurley. Yeah, I was going to say Gurley. Gurley has almost like 800 to 900 receiving yards. Let alone he's going to run for 600.
Yeah.
1,300 rushing yards and 780 receiving yards. Crazy.
Yeah. Those are Le'Veon Bell type of numbers out of Todd Gurley. And this is only Todd Gurley's what, third year? Third year, yeah. But yeah. Todd Gurley is top 3 candidates. Well, because he was in the top 5, but I think he moved to the top 3 or top 2. Because guess what? The top 3 out of the top 5, well, because Wentz and Brown are both injured, but Brown, he'll be back by the divisional round of the playoffs. And the Russell Wilson, he's riding the pine. I mean, like he really is in dangerous territory because if he doesn't win, then they're in danger of getting knocked out of the playoffs. So if he don't win, then it's over for them.
Russell Wilson does lead the league.
Because he leads the league in touchdowns. That's why.
He's got to make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, he's got to make the playoffs for him to be in the conversation. But yeah. All right. Let's get into our recap of last week, or Christmas week, pretty much. What was the game of the week in you guys' opinion? Flip, you first.
I really want to say that Jack game just because it came down to the wire somehow still at the very end, and then the 49ers are like, nah.
Yeah. Denied. And and before we even get into it, by far, the team that was most improved is the 49ers. You might say it doesn't mean nothing because it's so late in the season, but I disagree.
No, I still need some of that.
Yeah.
It definitely shows that they could be a force next year.
Yeah.
So that draft's going to be higher than him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it to the 49ers today because it was a surprise game. And the 49ers kind of said, hey, let's make it a little bit interesting so we won't do it.
Yeah. All right, Walter Todd, what are your thoughts? Game of the week for week 16.
I won't say the Niners game because I'm not going to be completely biased during the entire podcast, but what I'll say is probably the Bucks Panthers game was a little sloppy, but it wasn't more competitive than I thought it would be. And it was actually it didn't come down to the wire. There was a couple of crucial turnovers that kind of swayed the game, and then Cam Newton just came out and scored that game-winning touchdown with like under 40 seconds left. So that game, Winston had that in his hands, and then the defense just choked, and Winston almost like ran out to the field and almost got ejected.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys saw it. He was like literally about to run on the field and fight a ref. He was so irritated. I think he turned it over, and he didn't think he got the ball back. The rest gave the ball back to Carolina. They thought Carolina got the fumble recovery, and Winston almost melted down. But yeah, Cam had a pretty solid, like an okay performance, like a typical kind of Cam game. I don't think he didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he got a rushing touchdown and still won the game when it mattered. So it's I thought that was a competitive NFC South game, and what kind of took Carolina but pulled it out. So that's my game.
I have three. One is the Seattle and Dallas game. That game was slow, but the thing is, the ending was satisfying for most people. And the thing is, didn't I pick the Seattle Seahawks to beat the? Yep. I'm looking at it last week, and I did. I did pick the Seattle. I picked them to win by 3. But yeah. Let's see. Another one. The Rams and Titans game. I called that one. I said Rams by 4. I believe. Well, I think I said Rams by either 4, 5, or 6. Like I think. I had them by less than a touchdown, but yeah. And of course, my boys putting the whooping on the Houston Texans. A lot of people were like, "Man, that game don't mean nothing because y'all went up against a crippled Houston Texans team." At this point in the season, everybody has some kind of major injury. So yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going up against the Browns next week. So they will be smart to bench every last one of their starters because we don't need nothing happening. But yeah. And oh my goodness, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, most improved team of the week. I've already said it. It's got to be the 49ers to me because they beat the big bad defensive juggernaut known as the Jaguars. But yeah, I mean, what about you guys? What do you think? Or do you even really need to say it? Yeah.
You hang up 21 on the number one defense in one quarter, the fourth. I think that's easily them, especially with a quarterback that's only been in the offense for midway through the season, with basically basically a scrub wide receiver that no one threw at, and he does that on that defense. Yeah.
Right.
And you're like shadow of a doubt. Like most people would probably could try to make the argument that the Niners' last couple of wins have been kind of smoking mirrors because the teams they beat.
Nah.
They beat a legitimate. I mean, some people are like, oh, they barely beat the Titans. They beat the Texans, but the Texans don't only have Hopkins. They beat the Bears by 1 point, but this is a legitimate win. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. All right, now, in your opinion, next topic, the player of the week. Oh wow, this is a very tough one for me. There's like 3 or 4 different nominations for player of the week. But Flip, who you got?
Todd Gurley, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah, I was about to say him. He's top 3 players of the week. Yeah.
Gurley, I can't stop.
Yeah, because he's like Steven Jackson on steroids.
Yeah, but he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gurley, no question.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I had 3 other picks, but yeah, I mean, Gurley, he's my number 1 pick. And of course, my favorite topic, the choke of the week. Now, in my opinion, the choke of the week, as a matter of fact, you go as far as say as the Oakland, they were the choke of the week last night. But it either had to be Oakland or Dallas that was the choke of the week. But Flip, who you got? Yeah, you can do players, teams, coaches, whatever the hell you want. Who choked the worst? Oh, Lord.
He was a high school quarterback out there. I don't know what Dez was like. He threw that game away. Like,
Yeah.
fumble and then like, come on, Dez. Like, you're supposed to be the elite receiver and you can't bring the pass. Like, I get that.
I told y'all, him and Dak have zero chemistry.
Yeah, but it's like after almost 2 seasons, you still can't get line with each other. I don't know, man. I feel like Dak wants somebody to face and Dez just wants someone who's like throwing the ball up in the air and let him make a highlight play.
Yeah.
But either way, it's choke.
All right. Yeah. Wazatov, who's your choke of the week?
Man, my choke of the week is the freaking Lions, man. How do you pull that against the Bengals?
Oh God.
We're left for dead, and you get a stinker. Again, especially because they lost. The Bengals didn't have their running back. They're starting running back after the first quarter. And you let Giovanni Bernard run for 115 on y'all.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford throws up a slow ass game to cost his team a playoff chance. Like we all kind of penciled in the Lions a little bit. They had the easiest 2 games out of all the teams that on the hunt in the hunt for the NFC playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to just lay it out on the line like lay an egg against the Bengals was just like was so they were just hacking up a lung and shit like that.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, I mean, either one of those, I mean, both of those are pretty much top 2 candidates for choke of the week. But yeah, let's get into it, fellas. Here it is, the finale. Well, not really the finale because we got to make because like once we know who's set for the playoffs, even though most of the season locked, we're gonna make our predictions for that. But yeah, week 17 predictions. First up, we got divisional matchup between like it matters, the Washington Redskins going up against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. The Giants are at home. Flip, who you got? Giants, Skins.
I feel like Eli's on his goodbye tour in New York, so he's not going to roll over and give the Giants the loss here. So I think he'll higher in the lottery or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess since they're playing at home, Eli's last game, I got to feel like he's going to throw the ball as much as possible. Yeah, I would say the Giants. 23-21.
All right. Wazatov, who you got?
Yo, I mean, I thought Eli wasn't gonna punk out, but he had a pretty bad game last week. So I'm not sure if I can put much faith in Eli trying to like have a high performance to kind of screw the Giants out of a top lottery, out of a top higher draft pick.
Yeah.
Plus the Redskins are almost basically closing in on a 500 season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kirk Cousins, like, he wants to kind of point and finish the season off right so he can still have a case to get paid in the off season.
Yeah.
Granted, one of his destinations, San Francisco, is already kind of locked up. So I think he wants to finish up the season on a high note, be in that like 4,000 yard, 30 touchdown range, and basically like look have his agent like field in some of these big offers because there's going to be a few teams that are going to be looking at Kirk Cousins and think, hey, we can win with this guy. He's like a fully capable quarterback. So I like the Redskins. I think Kirk Cousins is going to lead them against this terrible let's get into this. Redskins 31, Giants 17.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say how disappointed in myself for actually picking the Giants to win the East this year in the NFC. But like I said, like you guys said, half of it has to do with injuries. The other half is bad coaching and them not being able to get the quarterback situation together. The Redskins, I'm not sold on them, but the thing is, they're a team that's good enough. They are one of those teams, those wishy-washy teams. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game. They're inconsistent. But the thing is like they can beat teams who aren't better than them on paper. I mean, any other time I'd pick the Giants, but neither one of these teams is even really playing for that much. The Giants damn sure ain't playing for nothing. But you're right. Eli might go out guns blazing, but even if he does, I'm not holding my breath on that. So I mean, at this point in the season, even the defense for the Skins even playing better. But overall, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this one to the Skins by 7 points. No, not 6. 27-21 Redskins. Next up, we got the New York Jets on the road against the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots have a little bit of a dilemma. What do? Do they sit Tom Brady out so he doesn't get injured? Or do they risk, losing that home field advantage? Because they're only a game ahead of the Steelers. If they lose, they'll be half a game behind the Steelers, especially if the Steelers win out, if they beat the Browns. The Jets, we don't know which Jets are going to show up because they've blown. The thing is, the Jets are tricky because all season long, they've had leads and then ended up blowing it. A prime example, the game they had against the Carolina Panthers. They could have easily won that one, but they choked at the end. But the Jets, besides their defense and besides a couple of receivers, they don't really have anything to match up against the Patriots. It's all a matter if the Patriots sleep, if they choose to sleep on them. But what do you Flip? Who's your pick? I'm gonna have to go on the safe side and say the Patriots by 9 points. But Flip, what do you think?
It's terrible. And the only reason they were even close to the game last week against the Chargers was because our run was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the Law Powell just ran all over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching that game, Bryce Petty can't throw. He shouldn't be in the league at all.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's probably going to put up 24 points in one half.
Yeah. You think? Oh shoot! You actually think he's gonna play?
Yeah, I think he'll play the first half. I think Belichick will have him play the first half, have him run up the score, and then sit him in the backup run for the playoffs. Okay. But yeah, I think it's going to be 31-7.
All right. Wazzle Tom, who you got? Jets, Pats.
Yeah, Flip kind of took the words out of my mouth. I feel like the Patriots are going to have the starters go in the first half, and they're gonna play them really hard just to run the score up so they can afford to bench them in the second half. So they're going to look for the Patriots and just try to run that score up as much as they can in the first 2 quarters. Again, the first game in the regular season was kind of competitive. The Jets kind of had the Patriots on the ropes for a little bit until the third quarter. But surprisingly, I mean, I think a part of that is the competitiveness with their quarterback and the talent. I think he kind of rallied the team a little bit. Then when he went out, Peggy just took the drop off, and that team can't overachieve with that kind of quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see them doing anything against the Patriots. I think the Patriots they kind of especially if they have a new. The Patriots are starting to actually run the ball pretty well with Deion Lewis now. They don't. It's like they kind of figured it out. Before there was a running back city, and a lot of it was just these short screen passes to Burkhead or whatever. But they're actually running really well with Deion Lewis, who's nearing 1,000 yards. He's not going to get it, but it is kind of interesting to see that the Patriots can resort to taking some of the pressure off of Brady off the postseason when a lot of teams end up relying on the run due to the cold weather and everything like that. So I do in this game though, for instance, I'm going to say the Patriots are going to win this game. I think it's going to be 28.
All right. Next, we had a lot of divisional matchups in this last season, last week of the season. Bears on the road against the Vikings, and the Vikings they're the team that probably surprised me the most this year, besides the Rams and the Jaguars. They're one of the two teams that surprised me the most, especially because going into this year, I didn't know what their quarterback situation was going to be. It's like, are they going to start Bradford? Are they going to start Keenum? Are they going to start Bridgewater? What the hell is going to go on with them? Because they have a solid defense, and the thing is, if they had the running game that they used to, they'd have been even more of a threat. But that's starting to get that back. But Case Keenum was, he's turned out to be working for them. But the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, like I said, the only thing that the Bears really have that keeps them in game is their running games, and that's it. And the thing is, I think that the Vikings defense might stack up well enough that running game. I think they might end up getting their running game stuffed. And it's like when they get the running game stuffed, what are the options do they have? They can't air it out. They can't get the quarterback to run. They can't do short screen passes either. So what else are they going to do? Not a damn thing. That's what they're going to do. And it's at home too. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Vikings, I'll say Vikings by 10. Flip, who you got? Bears, Vikings.
Yeah, I think the Bears. I think in a low-scoring game. Well, okay, the Eagles and the Vikings should play at the same time, but the Cowboys don't know if they're still in the hunt for that bye week or that bye, whatever. But yeah.
Well, the Eagles clinched. They clinched the deal.
Yeah.
The Eagles got the first seed. The Vikings can still lose the first round bye to the Panthers. The Panthers still have a tiebreaker against the Vikings. So
yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. So if they lose or if they tie, and especially if the Panthers win out, then they can get that first round bye.
Yeah, okay, so the Vikings are definitely going to play hard. I would think they might rest their starters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're definitely going to play hard. I still think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think the team's going to too much points.
Yeah.
I got to go 7.
Yeah. And before we move on, can we revisit the fact of how dangerous the NFC South is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might have 3 representatives. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, what's the top? What's your final score on the Vikings Bears game?
Yeah, the Vikings are gonna probably shut out the Bears offense. Trubisky, I don't see him lighting it up against that secondary. And since the Vikings still have something to play for, I think they're gonna keep their starters in. I could see Case Keenum having a big day and still continuing to add on to this miracle season. This might be a game that Thielen catches some touchdowns. I think this is going to be probably 24-7 Vikings.
All right. Another NFC North divisional matchup. The Green Bay Packers, who are a shell of their former selves, going up against the Detroit Lions, who have nothing else to lose. Now, the Lions are, like I said, I don't know what the hell it is that's going on with the Lions. Hopefully they can figure it out in the postseason. But they're missing something they're missing something that's keeping them from being great. They're missing something that's keeping them from being good to great. I don't know what that something is. Like I said, that's something they need to figure out in the postseason. I don't think it's Matt Stafford. I really don't think Matt Stafford is the problem. I really don't. It's something else. I just can't put my finger on it. And yes, the Packers are gonna be sitting out. They're gonna be sitting out Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna be playing Brett Hundley after Brett Hundley pretty much stunk it up against the Vikings this past Saturday night. Like I said, the Packers are a shell of their former self. There's not really that much to say. They're not playing for anything, and even Aaron Rodgers at 70% looked better than Hundley at 100%. And that's sad to say because I had high hopes Brett Hundley when Aaron Rodgers went down. But me overall, I'm gonna go ahead since it's at home too. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one to the Lions by 9 points. Flip, who you got? Packers, Lions.
Yeah, so Huntley is starting to I think the line's going to win. But against the line, you're faster, so the line needs to figure something out. But I don't think it's faster either. I don't think it's the receivers. I think it has to do with the running game a lot and their defense. I feel like their defense kind of has been playing behind a lot. So I don't think he's that great of a quarterback playing pressure on him.
Yeah.
And I think he misses that Calvin Johnson kind of blanket.
Yeah.
He played 9 seasons with a dude who was putting up numbers like that. Kind of misses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's still doing some getting used to that. But yeah, I got the Lions winning 24-4.
All right. What's the top? Who you got? Lions, Packers.
You know, I'm not so quick to write off the Packers in this game, as I guess you guys might be. I think the performance by Huntley was more so just the opposing defense, and Detroit is a much weaker defense. I think it's going to look a lot better by default. I think the squad, Packers squad, they want to. I think he's still going to play hard. They're still going to have to start. I'm not sure how demoralized the Detroit Lions are after missing out on the playoffs again. And I do agree with Flip. I think it's the fact that Stafford has never really had like a decent runner in that offense all the years he's been there. He's definitely always had the weapons in terms of receivers, but never like a solid like running back that can carry the ball 20 to 25 times a game. That just hasn't happened. I think that's always limited that potential of that team and matches that potential. Yeah, for some reason I'm leaning on the Packers in this one. I think again it's a divisional game. Both teams not really having much to play for other than pride. Detroit won to finish the winning season. Maybe the Packers not want to have a losing season, but for some reason I'm leaning towards the Packers. I think there's going to be an upset. So I'm going to go with the Packers. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 23-23.
Wow, we got it in a close one. All right, we'll see. Next up, we got the Houston Texans going up against the Indianapolis Colts, AFC South matchup. Now, another person who I had high hopes for was Jacoby Brissett. But the thing is, they're just not giving the kid enough to work with. The thing is, he's a decent quarterback with good feet. He just needs to work on his arm accuracy a little more, and he'll be straight. He'll have some. The thing is, he has no receiving core at all. At least now. If you compare the receiving core to the Colts 2 years ago, when Andrew Luck was starting, which he'll probably be starting again next year. Hopefully, we'll see about that. Either that, or he might go start for someone else, but we'll see. Yeah, the receiving core is nowhere near as good as when he was starting. The Houston Texans, they also suffer from a quarterback curse. I don't know what the hell it is, but they can't keep a quarterback. Either he always gets traded, he sucks, or he can't stay healthy. It's one of those three things. They can't where the Texans can't be. But the thing is, last year they actually made it to the wild card, which was amazing to me. But in this game, I don't know. I'm probably not even gonna bother to watch this game for obvious reasons. But hell, I gotta pick somebody. I actually like the Texans a little bit better because they just lost to the Steelers on Sunday. On Monday. Give me the Texans by 4 points over the Colts. Flip, who you got?
All right. So I believe in Jacoby Brissett a little bit. I think he's solid, but he's just not NFL ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with the team, I think Andrew Luck probably could almost do something like that in the game. This game just seems like even with the curse on their quarterback, they still have DeAndre Hopkins. That's all they DeAndre Hopkins. He's just gonna burn through everybody. I don't see why Hilton's competing with them. They can only throw it to Jack Doyle so often. So Texans should take this one pretty simply. I think 21 to. Actually, I think think it might be a little bit closer. I'd say it's 21-17. Texans.
All right, Wazoo Top, who you got? Texans or the Colts?
Gosh, this is terrible. You know what I think the Texans should do? I think the Texans should look at Braxton Miller and put him at quarterback.
Really?
They got him short. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not just throw Braxton Miller out there and see what you got? Last game of the season, like you're not playing for anything. Like he's just chilling on your wide receiver. You don't get charged a wide receiver. He's just chilling there. Why not throw him at wide receiver? Because all your quarterbacks are just concussion left and right.
Yeah.
So why not just see what you got? I mean, just throw it in there, see what happens. But that's just my suggestion for that game. In terms of this game, it's just terrible. This is a terrible game. Hopkins is the only reason I would want to turn this game on. Because he seems to be making unbelievable plays every game, no matter who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And he's had a phenomenal season. So you know what? I'm gonna just for that reason alone. I think Hopkins is the difference maker. So I'll give the Texans the edge in this one. Even though they don't have a quarterback, but just Brissett's not really playing well enough to make it look like the Colts have one either. So I'm going to go with the Texans in this game. Texans 21, Indianapolis Colts.
All right. Next up, AFC North Divisional matchup. Come on. The Cleveland Browns on the road at Heinz Field against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns, they have at least the draft to look forward to. That's a positive. They got Josh Gordon back. That's a positive. Their defense is okay. That's a positive. Do y'all want me to go ahead and just stop now? Yeah. And guess what? The Steelers made a better defensive back out of Joe Hayden than they did. So, yeah, I mean, so what the hell? And the Steelers also have, I mean, is this game a gimme? Because they have the same dilemma as the New England Patriots. Do they bench their starters? Do they bench Big Ben? Do they bench Bell too, and just have Ridley run it? Or yeah, like I said, their dilemma is: do they bench their starters or do they play, just to make sure? But I don't see the Browns beating the Steelers, especially at this point in the this point in the season. I don't know if it's going to be close or if the Steelers are going to run right through them and put their foot on their necks. I actually see this being a 35-10 type of game for the Steelers. Flip, who you got? Browns, Steelers.
All right. We need another historical 16. We already know we're going to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the Steelers keeping their starters up there the entire game. Maybe the first half, like the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I see them maybe doing that just to, give them a little bit of run before that bye week, so they're not too out of it when that next game comes out.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, the Browns, they have some nice run. Their secondary, their running game is Josh Gordon, and they have 2 picks in the draft. I think if they can get their star quarterback and maybe a running back or a receiver, I think they could actually be a threat. So I'm going to say that. I think they could be a threat next year. No type. And I know they have a lot of cap room, so that's another. So they could definitely bring it still in start. But for this game, it's not happening.
Yeah.
They might score like a touchdown or 2, so I would say Steelers win it 28-7.
All right, Wallace Top, who you got? Browns, Steelers.
This has the makings to be an interesting game, but only because I think the Browns are the only people that don't want to see them go with 16. Everyone in the locker room does not want to go winless the entire season, so they're gonna really got to be playing their asses off, you would imagine. Whereas the Steelers, they just want to make sure they get to this game, get the win, and don't have any casualties going into the postseason.
Yeah.
So whenever you get that kind of matchup between teams with different things in mind, and sometimes upsets can occur. I don't want to fully commit to this prediction where I think the Browns actually pull this off, but I still think there's some fuckery that can happen.
Oh.
Obviously, the week one it was kind of close, and the Browns kind of almost stuck it out. For some reason, I think it's going to be closer than people think. I'll tell you this: I think the Steelers have their starters in sometime in the fourth. Maybe they pull them out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Steelers are going to have to play their starters at least 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. Because if you remember last year, it went to overtime against the Browns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be Steelers winning, but it's going to be like 23-17.
All right, I'll buy that for $1. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, a team with already a playoff spot locked versus a team with nothing else to lose. You can pretty much make all the same arguments. I mean, the Cowboys, they are going to play, they're going to play their hearts out just to save face, just for pride. The Eagles, like I said, they got that number one seed locked up pretty much. Like I said, well, if all they need to do is just keep Nick Foles out of danger and keep him healthy. But the thing is, the Oakland pretty much gave them all they can handle, minus that fourth quarter, because the score was 10 even all the way through the third and halfway through the fourth. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're right. I mean, Volatile, to piggyback off what you said about the Steelers-Browns game, you could see a Cowboys come out with guns a-blazing because they really have nothing else left to lose. And you might end up getting a 50-50 Eagles team. Like I said, you never really know. But, of course, at this point in the season, you do kind of have to play it safe. I'm going to play the safe pick. Give me the Eagles in this game 28-23. Flip, who you got? Cowboys, Eagles.
I would agree with you if Arsenal go down to 8 minutes. I see Nick Foles again. He's going to be playing against already has that professional there. So I see him being pulled out. Maybe keep Aguilar in. Maybe keep Alshon in. They're definitely benching their running back. Corey Clemens probably going to play the entire game. Maybe with some blood taking some playing off. But yeah, this should be a Cowboys game. They should come out down for it. Even like Darby even got hurt at the beginning of the season. So yeah, they're definitely not playing targets. They're definitely sitting all their targets second the game start. So this should be like 28-31 point game for the Dallas and then like 10 points for
Wow. All right, Volatile, who you got?
I don't know. I still don't trust this Dallas team, even if they're playing an Eagles team that just kind of goes at it half-assed. I mean, this Dallas team is kind of imploded a little bit, especially with Dak taking shots at Dez. Like, I mean, how do you talk about not clicking? So how do we expect that to go to getting on a good rapport after your quarterback essentially says that you can't catch anything? And I gotta put the ball on a silver platter and walk it right up to you and hand it to you gently in order for you to make a reception. That's essentially what it is.
It's a damn shame.
You know what I mean? Like, so these Dallas teams hard to pick. Given everything that they have going for in this particular game, I still think the Eagles defense just kind of just rattled back a little bit. Yeah, I still like the Eagles, man. They haven't lost at home yet. I don't think they want to lose at home to the Dallas Cowboys. I think they want to finish the season strong. I think the starters might play a quarter. You're right, they have nothing to play for. Maybe they don't. But I like the Eagles. I can't pick against them against Dallas, even with potentially bench the starters. I'm going to go Eagles 23 or 14.
All right. Next up, NFC West divisional matchup. Woo! The San Francisco 49ers going up against the LA Rams. Wow. The era of Jimmy G is upon us, and he seems like he's a quarterback who can make something out of nothing. Like I said, now just imagine if he had a stacked receiving core. They might actually, make a playoff run next year, especially if they get like a Frank Gore type of running back also. But like I said, only time will tell, and we'll see. But let's be real. The Rams are a team that's red hot. I mean, they're red hot going into the postseason. But the thing is, the Tennessee Titans, yeah.
1 second.
Uh-huh.
They are dressed to get started. Don't pick the Rams so easy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The thing is, you're right about that. Like, a lot of teams who already have a locked playoff spot are going to be benching their starters for at least the first half. They might either put their starters in the first half, then bench them the second half, or they might bench the starters the first half and put them in the second half. I mean, it really does depend. They'd be smart. The Rams, to me, would be smarter to put Jared Goff in the first half and then take him out and then let, pretty much the receiving core do the rest of the work. But, I mean, we'll see. But, I mean, if anything, regardless of the outcome of this game, I hope this game looks exactly like their first meeting, where the game ends up being like 39, 38, 41, 39, something like that. I hope this game looks exactly like the first meeting between these two. But I'm really sorry about this, but I'm solely going to pick the Rams just because they're at home in this game and they have a little bit more to play for. Give me the Rams by 2 points over the 49ers, just like last time. I got the Rams winning by 2 points. Flip, what about you?
I think the Saints going to rest the second half and the first half. So if you don't see the Rams take over in the first half, like 14, I don't know. I see them making use of the 49ers, but we can't tell that right now. So I bet against Jimmy G last season. I was proving wrong.
Yeah.
So against the team that's going to be resting the starters, I mean, it seems pretty stupid to go against the 49ers right now. I got the 49ers going this night, and I can't bet against Jimmy G anymore.
Wow.
So I got 49ers beating the Rams 27 to 20.
All right. Wazatov, who do you got? Rams, Niners.
Jimmy G cannot remember the last time he lost a game because he has not lost an NFL professional game. All right, he does not lose games in the NFL. He does not lose in the National Football League. He has not done that yet. So therefore, I cannot pick against Jimmy G until he shows me that he can lose a professional football game. Okay, he will not lose to a Rams team, let alone a Rams team that might potentially bench their starters for health reasons, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, if Jimmy G would have been in that first game, it would have been a rest. They would have. It would have been a dub. It would have been a dub in that game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if Brian Hoyer could look halfway decent in that game, Jimmy G would have looked like Joe Montana and Steve Young combined.
Jesus.
I'm telling you right now, this thing it's going to be. Now, only thing I can if I'm trying to look at the standings, I'm trying to see if the Rams can lose positioning. I don't know if the Rams can drop a spot if they lose, and then like the Saints or the Panthers pick up past them. I'm trying to look at that matters to them, or if they're just locked into that third spot. I don't think they can't get the first round bye, but they could fall a little bit in seeding. But I don't know if that matters to them as much. But I mean, early obviously can run all over us. We do have a suspect run defense. Our defense has started to tighten up a little bit, in terms of our run defense. Beforehand, you could run all over us. Now, before I have to intervene, you did comment that we do need a Frank Gore type player.
Yeah.
Now, I Carlos Hyde, he is having a decent season. Granted, again, everything's kind of been blossoming under Jimmy G. If Jimmy G is under us for a full season, like, I mean, who knows? Like, Carlos Hyde right now is at 850 yards, so he's essentially, kind of 1,000 yards back already. Essentially, I think if we have a full season with a great quarterback like Jimmy G, we may not need to go after another, like, kind of like I don't think they need to necessarily get like another running back. I mean, they got Carlos Hyde. Matt Breida is solid two behind him. I think really it's just another receiver or two, and maybe a tight end, good blocking tight end. But regardless, the future is bright in San Fran, and it's a beautiful thing as a Christian mind. It's in this game though. I'm going to take San Fran. There's no way I'm not picking against Jimmy G until he shows me that he knows how to lose the game. So I'm going to go with San Francisco 49ers. It's just going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with 34 to 29.
Like I said, I hope this game looks exactly like the first one, so that way it'll be must-see TV. But like I said, we'll see. Yeah. Next up, we got, oh boy, AFC West divisional matchup between the LA Chargers going up against the Oakland Raiders. Flip, you want to take this one first?
Sure, why not? This is going to be one that's up in the air because Melvin Gordon might not play.
Oh yeah.
He's already hurt, so we got to rely on Brandon Oliver for this game. We lost Hunter Henry for this season, but I mean, we have Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Still Antonio Gates. But that Raiders team was kind of scary. We're not going to lie. Beast Mode was looking like Beast Mode out there. And our run is trash, so I don't know if we can really stop him. So I'm hoping that the Chargers win, but I feel like we might lose this game to the Raiders. So
You guys are at home.
yeah, I mean that ain't really home field. That's Raiders home field.
Yeah.
California team. I mean, it's Raiders 49ers. Chargers and Rams are still trying to for California spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna do this Oakland just because I don't want to jinx myself. I got the Raiders winning 21-17.
Yeah, I mean, now mind you, the Chargers are still in the hunt, but they're going to need a miracle and a half to actually get a playoff spot. The 6th seed, the best they can hope for. But Walter, who you got? Raiders, Chargers?
Yeah, the Raiders, I guess maybe are starting to switch it up a little bit. I think because of the injuries on their offensive line, I think they're going to need to rely heavily on the run in this game. Lynch, I mean, maybe I think the way they can kind of win this game against the Chargers is that they essentially try to just maintain high power possession against this team. Give Lynch a lot of carries, at least 25 to 30 carries, and just try to slow it down a little bit and minimize the Chargers on offense on that field. The Raiders, I think Derek Carr has kind of fallen off a lot. I thought Derek Carr was going to be like the next up-and-coming great quarterback, and had such a terrible season. I don't know if it's injury. I don't know what it is. It's a mental thing, but he's definitely fallen off. I think the injuries to that offensive line are just going to get more exposed with that pass rush that the Chargers can bring. I think the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this spot. I'm not worried about jinxing anyone. I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. I'm going to say 24 to 18.
All right. Next up, another AFC West divisional matchup. The Denver Broncos went up against the Kansas City Chiefs, which are the biggest underachievers of the season. They had all the potential in the world. They started out with all the guns blazing in the world, but then they ran out of gas once they ran into the Steelers, and then they weren't the same team. Now they still got a playoff spot, like I said they would, and like I said, they're 7-4 in the conference and 4-1 in the division. the Broncos, hopefully they get it together next year with their situation. I personally think that they really should start Osweiler next season over over what's his name? Can't think of his name right now. Trevor Siemian. Yeah, I think they should start Osweiler over Siemian next year. That is, if Osweiler gets hurt, then it's when you start Siemian. The Broncos are showing some shades of life, but guess what? Too little, too late. Now it doesn't even matter. Unlike the Chiefs, who actually have something to play for. And I said I think I predicted at the beginning of the year that their record was going to be 10-6, and I was pretty much. I think I'm going to be right about that. The Chiefs probably could make some noise in the playoffs, depending on who they go up against. Let's see. I think if they win, we could be seeing the Chiefs go up against the Ravens, and we could be seeing the Titans go up against the Jags. We're going to pretty much see an NFC South matchup again. That is if the Chargers and the Bills just completely crap out. But like I said, we'll see about that. But as far as this game, I'm gonna have to pick I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs 28-21. No. 28-17 over the Broncos. Flip, what about you? Who you got? Broncos Chiefs.
Did we see Andy Reid was fit enough for the half? They already went the division title and I was thinking 29, right?
Yep, I believe so.
I don't know if Andy Reid will fit him, but I mean, it's a division game. It's against the Broncos. The Broncos might be out there looking for blood.
Yeah, they might try to rough up the Chargers. They're like, okay, we're already getting loose, so we're gonna try to beat you guys up so you can go in the postseason. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. So maybe if the first half goes well for the Chiefs, they start resting starters, but he might play the entire way through. And I mean, I don't see the Broncos offense really against this defense that well. So I would say Chiefs will win it 21-13.
All right, Boss Talk, who you got? Broncos, Chiefs.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs in this spot. I mean, even with the potential for the starters to be benched, I do. The only bright spot I think the Broncos might have in this game is if B.J. Anderson continues what he's been having kind of been on a kind of a run across the game. He's almost nearing 1,000 yards for the season. I don't think the quarterback is going to help Denver in this situation. But speaking of which, Alex Smith probably having the best season in his career right now. He's going to throw more yards than he ever has this season and throw more touchdowns than he has this season. So I do think the Chiefs are going to finish the season strong, and then kind of maybe. I mean, I like the Chiefs, but the Chiefs Ravens in round one. I mean, give me the Chiefs right now. Even with Flacco in his reputation in the playoffs, I do like the Chiefs in that first round game. In this game, I like the Chiefs. Regardless of if the defensive starters for at least a half, I still like them in this spot, even on the road. I think Denver is just gonna have to reevaluate the thing at the quarterback position. John Elway's just gonna have to make some moves. Maybe they go after someone like Kirk Cousins. I don't know. That might be a good spot. But I'm gonna go with Chiefs in this game. I'll say Chiefs 27-20.
All right. Next up, another AFC South divisional matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road against the Tennessee Titans. Now, for the Tennessee Titans, this is a do-or-die game because, believe it or not, they still have a shot at the playoffs. Hold on, wait, do they? Yeah, they do. But the thing is, they need a lot of help. One, of course, if they lose, they're over. And the thing is, like 3 or 4 different teams need to take a nosedive or they need to tie. And the thing is, I think that the Titans might end up coming out guns blazing. But the thing is, the Jags, they might either be pissed because of the way they got their asses handed to them by the 49ers last week, or they might rush their starters. I mean, one of the two might happen. I actually see the former rather than the latter. I think they're still going to be a little bit sore from that loss, so they might come out and try to make a statement and say, "Look, we're in the playoffs, so we ain't going nowhere. Don't let that last loss fool you." Marcus Mariota, like he's another one of those quarterbacks that just can't get over the hump. He's got the right tools, he's got the right skill set, but it's just something about him that he just can't get over the hump on. The Titans defense is even okay, but the thing is, the Titans defense can't stack up to the Jaguars defense. And the thing is, we're going to address the elephant in the room as far as whether you can trust Blake Bortles in the postseason. I'm not sold on him, and I mean he's going to be the determining factor as to whether or not they go far in or whether they're going to be one and done. Believe it or not, out of all the games this week for Week 17, this is actually one of the harder ones to pick. It really is. Oh man, do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't want. I want to do it, but I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna give it to the Jaguars this game. I'm gonna give it to the Jaguars by 7 points. Flip, who you got? Jags, Titans.
Definitely Jags. Doug Marone in his little interview, he was talking about how they're coming out and this is a game to win. So they're definitely trying to make an example of the Titans. So if you looked at the 49ers game, they met their defense fighting with each other, their offense was fighting with each other.
Yeah.
There was a lot of civil war on that team, and I think he wants to get them straight, tell them we're a playoff team. We need to make a statement right here that we're not going to be this playoffs. So, yeah, I don't think the Titans won this one touchdowns. I need the Titans.
Wow.
I got the Jags winning 31 Titans.
All right, Wazzle, who you got?
Yeah, I don't trust this Titans team at all. I don't think they have a good coach. I think their coach potentially could get fired if they miss the playoffs. Right now, I guess they're saying that Marone's not going to rest the starters, and that's not necessarily surprising because I think Tom Coughlin in the front office there. He's got kind of a history of not benching starters at the end of the season, like we did like he did in New York. So look for the Jags to eventually try to hit the Titans in the mouth and essentially treat it like it's a do or die game for themselves. So I think the Jaguars can't go into the postseason with 2 straight losses and have any confidence or any expectations to win a first round game. I think they will take pride in eliminating the Titans from the playoffs, and they'll try to do so in beating them.
Yeah.
And I just think Blake Bortles will come back around. With can be exposed. And Mariota needs to get reevaluated because he hasn't looked good at all this season. And I don't think it's going to improve against the Jags defense. So I'm going to go Jaguars in this game. It's going to be 27-13.
All right. Next up, another divisional NFC South divisional matchup. New Orleans Saints going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers look a mess. And the thing is, they've been that way ever since week 6. Just when you thought that there'd be some kind of life, or they had some, you remember in the beginning of the season when it was literally a horse race in the NFC South? Now that's not the case. Now it's a 3-way horse race. The Bucs are the horse with the broken leg who had to drop out. The Saints are looking pretty damn good. And Drew Brees, his future is unknown, but I think that he's going to try to play his heart out. If this is his last season, then he's probably going to try. He's going to do his best to try to make that Super Bowl run. Alvin Kamara, he's in top 3 conversations for Rookie of the Year this year. With the other 2 being Juju Smith-Schuster and let's see, who else? Who else can make a case for Rookie of the Year?
Kareem, you can make a case for Kareem Hunt maybe, but
oh yeah.
I think Kamara's got it.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, especially in the first half of the season.
Lattimore as a right?
I put more. I wouldn't put him in the top 3. I put Marcus Lattimore maybe in the top 5.
Yeah.
But as far as my overall pick for this game, going ahead, like I said, since the Bucks are so much of a mess, and I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the Saints because the Saints are a damn good team. But go ahead and give me the Saints by 10 points over the Bucks. Flip, who you got? Saints, Bucks.
Yeah, it just should. I don't know, man. I think we've been saying it for weeks, right? That Mike Evans doesn't look like Mike Evans anymore. Maybe he's having his hot year and year. But yeah, he's terrible. Terrible. John Jackson, I don't know what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he's going to retire soon. Going to give up on the game. Doug Martin looked terrible. Whole team was terrible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also to add on to what you're saying on Drew Brees, I think he might play next year because Kamara and England are actually giving him, that life.
Oh yeah.
Mike Thomas is out there too, so I think he might say like, oh, you know what, I got one more year, I really can do it. But yeah, I think the Saints got to 27 and 27.
All right, Walt's top. Who you got?
Yeah, I think the Saints win this game, but the Bucks I think will still keep it interesting. They've been keeping games close ever since Winston came back, even though he hasn't been playing like lights out. Winston hasn't been performing too crappy. It's just been like kind of ho hum. He's not pulling out the wins for the Bucks, but the games are still competitive. Even against teams like the Falcons or the Panthers, they're still keeping it close. Even though the Bucks team overall has been a debacle.
Yeah.
They're already talking about firing the coach. So I mean that's obviously going to be a distraction, and that's never a good thing for a cohesive team. And the Saints are the Saints are still playing I think for positioning in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're gonna play the starters. And I think the running back situation Drew Brees has is just going to kind of, I mean, if anything adds life or years to a quarterback's career time, it's definitely having a good set of running backs.
Yeah.
And I think that might add for another year or two. That and if Drew Brees adopts the TB12 method by Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saints in this game, but I think it's going to be closer than people might think. I'm going to go with Saints 24, Bucks 20.
Ooh, all right. Next up, the Buffalo Bills going up against the Miami Dolphins on the road. The Bills were another team with, all the potential in the world, but with injuries and inconsistencies and going up against the wrong teams at the wrong time, that's pretty much one thing that killed them. But the thing is, they're going to finish the season over 500, so that's something to look forward to. Even though the Bills ain't made a playoff, they haven't made the playoffs since 1999. The Miami Dolphins, they made the playoffs last year, only to get blown out by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was beautiful, by the way. The Dolphins, I mean, everybody kind of crapped on Jay Cutler, myself included, but he managed to keep teams in games, and he even managed to do the impossible, which was beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, but the Dolphins were at home in this one. The Bills are going to need a miracle to make the playoffs, but even if they make it, they're going to be a one and done. But like I said, they're going to finish the season over, just right at 500. So they don't really. If they take away anything from this season, they could just have that, if nothing else. I don't know who to pick this. I really don't know who to pick this game because the Dolphins don't really have anything to play for either. But you know what? I am going to play this. I am going to go against the grain in this game, even though the Dolphins are home. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bills. Give me the Bills by 7 points, by a touchdown. Flip, who you got? Bills, Dolphins.
Bills, Dolphins. Tyrod, like you said, he's not a bad quarterback. He's a pretty good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McCoy, I like Sean McCoy. Kelvin Benjamin's back. It doesn't look like he's going down with an injury again. I don't know if they have Charles Clay back, but he's like a real prominent part of that offense. Bill's defense was terrible ever since they got rid of Marcus Darius. And then it's like when you look at the Dolphins, it's like Jay Cutler. I don't know. Sometimes he pulls the game out of his ass, and Jarvis Landry saves the day. Kenyon Drake stuff. He was really good back there. Like, I think they may have secretly found their number one running back for next season. They got Damian Williams as the third down back, so that's pretty cool. Like you said, this one could be a toss up. I think it's going to be close. But I think the Dolphins might pull it off just with their home, so I give it to them 24 to 21.
All right. Walter Tyler, who you got? Dolphins, Bills.
I like the Bills in this game. I don't trust Jay Cutler. I think he's gonna have another multi-pick game to end the season, and then he'll leave and then potentially be an analyst. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna finish out the season strong for the Dolphins. I don't think he has anything else to play for. The Bills, I think, want to finish strong, and then it's going to be interesting, man, if they finish 9-7, and then look back at that game where Peterman had he started Peterman out of nowhere. He threw like 5 picks.
Yeah.
And,
they didn't start him out of nowhere. They started him just to punish Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. So in the words of DJ Khaled, congratulations, Bills. You played yourself.
Go ahead, Blue. What's your conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I want to hear this. I want to go ahead and hear this.
It was early in the season, like middle of the season, right? And they benched Tyrod out of nowhere against the Chargers. And then later on in the season, we see Eli bench Regina Smith against the Raiders. My thing was, I thought that they were trying to make the AFC West close so that maybe TV ratings, maybe, or something. It's really kind of sketchy that both these benches happened out of nowhere for AFC West.
Oh.
And the Chiefs were starting to collapse too, so it was closed in.
So you think these teams were trying to make it competitive in one division for ratings, or?
Yeah, because you see how they kept saying, the Chargers start off 0-20 playoff team to come back from an 0-4 start against the Chargers. So it's like, okay, there's your objective there. Then it's like, hey, we might as well give it to the Raiders too. Let's make it a 3-way race for the division title. So I can see that happen for ratings. All the talk about the ratings came down and everything. Hey, there you go.
That's interesting. I'm not sure. The coin flip whether or not I fully want to commit to that. That's kind of funny though. Even though the Raiders kind of dropped the ball, the Raiders kind of dropped the ball on us. They didn't keep their end of the bargain to make it interesting. But,
yeah.
I think it was a Monday night game, right?
Yeah, it was a Monday night game.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna back to this particular game. I'm gonna say the Bills. I think they're gonna finish strong. I think LaShawn McCoy is gonna have a few touchdowns, run for over a buck, and Cutler's gonna throw more than one pick for sure.
Yikes.
And give me the Bills. Give me the Bills this game. 26 to 16 against the Dolphins.
All right. Next up, the NFC West Divisional matchup. The Arizona Cardinals going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks, even though they are a crippled team with 3/4 of the Legion of Boom being out for the year, they still managed to find a way to not die, to not be knocked out completely. And the Seahawks earned a lot of people's respect knocking out the Cowboys for the rest of the season. So they show that they are still very much alive. But the thing is, if they make it to the postseason, which means that the Falcons are going to have to take a nosedive, we'll get to that in just a second, the Falcons are going to have to lose in order for them to make the postseason. Against, and the thing is, the Cardinals, they've got nothing to really play for besides, pride. It's like, okay, well, we can't really lose to the Seahawks, especially in the closing games. The Seahawks have a hell of a lot more to play for. Now, is Russell Wilson going to play out of his mind, or is he going to play conservative? Because he's had to do more. He's had to do more of the workload because the defense is so crippled. And the thing is, the Seahawks running backs. I mean, their pair of running backs look pretty damn good, too. But and the Seahawks are at home, so they have just a little bit more of an edge. And like I said, the Cardinals would look a lot better if they can keep a quarterback healthy. And of course, Larry Fitzgerald is Larry Fitzgerald, and we've seen inklings of Adrian Peterson come back. But the thing is, I think like as time goes on, he's gonna slow down a little bit more. But with all that said, I think in this game, I like the Seahawks a little bit more. Give me the Seahawks by 7 points over the Cards. Flip, who you got? Seahawks, Cards.
I feel like the Seahawks get a little bit stronger at home, so I'll give them that advantage.
Right.
They're like one of the only home teams that can get better at home.
Yeah.
Cardinals, they're a weird team. Like they could suck one and next week looks like a playoff contender. This might be Larry's last game. Who knows? He might come on and be like, really put on a show. I don't trust that O-line for the Seahawks. Their running backs are a little like, they're on like their fifth running back. Rush is running for his life, and he's not. I mean, he's not really dominant. Like, I don't know. I got the Seahawks on maybe like 17, 13. Something like that.
All right, Molotov, who you got? Hawks, Cards.
I like the Seahawks in this game, but shout out to the Cardinals. They could almost finish the season at 500 after losing their quarterback and their stud and running back.
Yeah.
For essentially the entire season. So they've definitely overachieved. I think that there are talks about the head coach for the Cardinals retiring, Eric Rogerian. After this, maybe Larry retires as well. But I still think the Seahawks still obviously are fighting for the playoff spot, and this is a chance that I think Russell Wilson is going to show up. He's going to have a big game. He's going to put the team on his back and somehow walk away with the win. And we'll see if they go from there and if they can actually make the noise for the playoffs. I don't know if they can. Again, like you said, they're essentially going to be waiting for a beatdown from the Rams round one to make the playoffs. So, but I still think that they're going to, despite the kind of the discourse of the team, and all the talk of Earl Thomas wanting to go to Dallas, and the injuries in that secondary. I feel like the Seahawks should game. Give me the Seahawks. I'm going to say Seahawks 20, Cardinals 13.
All right. And this is the game that I wanted to get to. We got the Carolina Panthers on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I've told people that the Panthers are probably going to make at least third seed this year in the playoffs. The Falcons, a lot of people say that they're not sold on them because like they blew their load. So I mean, they are never going to live that Super Bowl loss down. They're never going to live that down. And the thing is, they might have a chip on their shoulder, and that might be extra motivation for them to win because they want the Super Bowl spot back. But the Panthers, they're starting to look like their old selves. And even if the Panthers lose this game, the worst they can do is fall down to fifth seed. So I mean, hell, that really is a toss-up right there. I really don't know who's going to win this game. I mean, it really is a toss-up. But hell, I got to pick somebody. Do I want to do it? I'm picking the Panthers over the Falcons. I have the Falcons getting knocked out of the playoff contention this year and the Seahawks taking their spot. I can't believe I did it, but I'm going to do it. Give me the Panthers 28-23 over the Falcons. Flip, who you got?
Okay, so the Panthers are playing at home?
No, the Falcons are home.
No, it's the Falcons.
Yeah.
Falcons at home in this division game?
If the Falcons beat the Panthers, not only do the Falcons get in the playoffs, but they knock the Panthers down to 5th seed.
So I think it's the home game, division game, so they've already played them once, so they have faith on them, they know how to play them. The Panthers have whistled a bit sometimes. Cam has, he's had that on and off, like that beginning of the season. Kind of looking weird. Last game, he was throwing it to Greg Olsen a lot, but the next game, he was throwing to Greg Olsen all basically. I can see the Falcons winning this one, like 31-23.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I can see the winning 31-23. Yeah, I got the Falcons.
Wow. All right. I mean, I actually could see that happening. But the Falcons, they can even get in with the tie as long as the here's the way it's working. If the Falcons and the Seahawks both lose, then the Falcons will still get in. Yeah, I know that's not fair, but yeah, that's pretty much the way it's working because they'll have a half a game over them in the conference. But yeah, that's funny how that works out. But Walter, who you got? Falcons, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I like the Falcons in this game. Divisional game between two kind of similar good teams. Although the Panthers obviously have been a lot better overall. I like the Panthers in terms of my chance of competing in the playoffs and advancing more so than the Falcons. But in this particular game, I will lean Falcons. I think this is a game. The Panthers got a good defense, but I think the Falcons have enough on offense to kind of match it up a little bit. They just need to fully take advantage of all the talent. So I feel like that roster on that offensive side of the ball is great, talented. For them to be low scoring in some of these games as they have been, and I think that this might be the game where they keep it together and they kind of loom as a threat as a 6th going into the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I might even like to take them against the Rams if they play the Rams first round.
Oh wow!
But in this game, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's a 3-point game. Give me the Falcons 24, Panthers 21.
Wow, so I'm the only Panthers pick. Okay, like I said, we'll see. But this is a do or die game for them. Well, like I said, actually, if they lose or tie, they will still be in good shape, especially if the Falcons. Especially if the Seahawks lose. But call me crazy, if you ask me, I think the Seahawks have a better chance of beating the Cardinals than the Falcons do beating the Panthers. What do you guys think?
No, yeah, that's smart. That's fine. I mean, yeah, the Falcons have a tougher game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see. Only time will tell. And last but not least, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals on the road against the Baltimore Ravens in M&T Stadium. Another team, the Ravens, as much as I hate to say it, but they are the Steelers, they are a team that just won't freaking die. They still find a way to be in the playoffs or to be in the hunt. They just won't die. And the thing is, inconsistent Jacob, that defense, that Ravens defense really does keep them alive. But Cincinnati Bengals, I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. Andy Dalton just can't get it together. Marvin Lewis is on his way out the door. So the thing is, are the Bengals going to be playing like they just don't give a damn this game, or are they going to give Marvin Lewis a farewell? Because as soon as this game is over, Marvin Lewis is cleaning out his dad. Damn it, I wanted to do it. I wanted to pick the Bengals over the Ravens, but I'm not going to do it this time. Give me the Ravens by 6 points over the Bengals. Flip, who you got? Damn, I two underdog picks. Out of this whole card, I've only got 2 underdog picks. Bengals or Ravens?
All right. I need the Ravens to win for playoff championship Chargers.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I think it was either the Ravens to win or they lose and the Bills lose. Yeah, the Bills have to lose too, the Ravens lose. But I think the Ravens got this game. I think it's going to be a farewell game for Marvin Lewis, so the Bengals are going to play hard for him.
Yeah.
It's going to be, we need to get this playoff win. So, I mean, in this division game,
yeah.
I don't know, man. It might be a pretty close one. Is Joe Mixon playing?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to check out the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think they're at home. Yeah, I got the Ravens 24-7.
Wow. All right. What's the time who you got? Ravens, Bengals.
I like the Ravens for this. I'm not sure how the Bengals are going to finish off Marvin Lewis, but against this Ravens squad, overall, I think they're going to be better coached. Mixon, Halvin Mixon, I do kind of look at that as the potential key in terms of how much I would look into Ravens against this game. I think it's a closer game as Mixon's playing, but I just think that the Bengals are just going to continue to have a stink of a season and lose these last games. Ravens are at home. They've been a pretty solid home team. I think they're going to get the 10 wins. They're going to be kind of a threat to kind of a potential dark horse that people are going to be afraid of because of Joe Flacco's success in the postseason. But give me the Ravens in this game. It's going to be a low-scoring game, I think, as well as the AFC North games tend to be. Give me the Ravens 20, the Bengals 13.
All right. Before we sign out here, let's have one last look at this playoff card. Let's see. In the AFC, the Patriots and Steelers are already locked. Jags are already locked. Chiefs are already locked. The only two, up in the air are the Titans and the Ravens. And the thing is, the Ravens have a better record than all of them as it stands right now because Titans, Chargers, and Bills are both tied at 8-7, and the Ravens are at 9-6 right now. But like I said, I mean, it's good. I mean, with it being the last week, and with injuries, and you don't know who's gonna start. People, coach rest spots. You really never do know what's gonna happen. Believe it or not, in the AFC, I really don't see that much changing, as much as I hate to admit it. Now, as far as the NFC side, Eagles, they're locked. Vikings, they're locked. Rams are locked. Panthers, the worst that can happen to them is if they move down a seed. Saints, the worst thing that can happen to them. The Seahawks are the only team that they need the Falcons to lose. Even if the Falcons tie, then they still lose. They still get that put that 6 seed playoff spot. I think, like I said, call me crazy, but I see the Falcons out and the Seahawks in. Other than that, I don't really see that much changing. But Flip, final thoughts before we sign out on this playoff picture.
AFC, I got Chargers and Ravens making it in. And NFC, I got the Falcons making it into the last spot. I got the Stocks moving out.
Wow. All right.
The rest of it, we can move around.
All right. Walls Top, final thoughts on the AFC and NFC playoff picture?
I think I agree with Flip on the AFC. I think the Chargers and the Ravens will be in. In the NFC, Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be in. I think. Here's the thing. So if the Falcons were in, I think the winner. I think the Saints and Panthers will have that will be playing in the first round.
Yeah. And like I said, whoever wins between the Falcons, whoever gets in between the Falcons and the Seahawks has to go up against the Rams.
Right. I think the Falcons will play the Rams in round one. I think the Falcons are going to make the playoffs at the 6th seed. But my prediction going forward is the Saints and the Panthers are going to play round one. I think the winner of that game is going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
I believe it.
I don't think so. I think those two teams I trust over Philly and the Rams and even the Vikings.
Yeah, because I don't trust Case Keenum. I really don't.
Yeah. So look for like a potential betting odds. I think the Saints or Panthers in terms of if you want to get in really good odds. The winner of that game I think is gonna be the team that ends up going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. And the AFC is a little bit more, that's a little more kind of typical in terms of the playoff seeding. I think it's either Patriots or Steelers.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it matters where the field's going to be at this point. I think it's still going to be a close game, whether it's in Foxborough or Hines. But
yeah.
The only thing that's going to matter is just if Baltimore somehow sneaks in, and if it's if Baltimore plays Pittsburgh, if that's going to be interesting, or if Baltimore plays New England, that'll be interesting too.
Yeah, very. Yeah, like I said, we'll see, guys. Anyway, that is our Week 17 predictions. Thank you guys for watching, and also, I'm grateful to have Flip Waltall as my co-host. And we will see you guys next week to predict the wild card weekend. See you guys later. Thank you, guys.